On Angel Island there lives a certain short-tempered echidna named Knuckles. He is a big boy whose sworn duty is to guard and protect the Master Emerald. Although right now he's currently taking a nap. The sound of birds chirping overhead stirs me from my light slumber. My eyes flutter open, and I smile as I see the sun's rays glinting off of the Master Emerald. I stand up, stretch and look out around my beautiful island. I then call out for my little sister, Kevin. I get no response, so I try again. Hey Kevin. But still there's no answer. I scream out in frustration. Ugh, not again. That girl's always running off when my back's turned. I swear she's as stubborn as when I first ran into her. I was walking through the streets of Mobius in search of one of Eggman's robots. I knew it had to be after a Chaos Emerald. Unfortunately I had lost sight of it, and I wasn't sure where it had gone. Where did that walking tin can go? I kept on searching until I heard someone shout, "Stay away from me, creep." Seeing as someone was in trouble, I rushed over in that direction to help. I was led into an alleyway, and I was surprised to see Eggman's robot, who had a small child cornered. Get away from her, rust bucket. I charged in and punched right through the robot. It crumbled into a giant scrap heap. My attention was turned away from the robot when I heard a small whimper. I turned around to see the small nigger cowering in the corner. I slowly approached her. "Don't worry kid, everything's okay. You're safe now." I reached out to her, but as soon as I did she screamed, punched me in the nose and ran off. Ow. Man, for someone so small she sure packs a huge cock. But not because I was angry, I was just worried about her. I managed to find her easily because she had cornered herself. I cautiously approached her. "Easy kid, I'm not going to hurt you." She tried to punch me again, but this time I caught her wrist. I used my other hand to move some of her thick, blue hair away from her face. I was shocked to see she had a huge bruise on her eye and a small cut on her cheek. "Leave me alone." She tried to escape, but I wouldn't let her. "Not until you answer some questions for me." She kept struggling. "Why should I tell you anything? I don't even know you." I sighed. "The name's Knuckles. Do you have a name, kid?" She finally stopped struggling, and I let her go. "The name's Kevin, not kid." She sat down against the wall. "So what do you want to know, Knuckles?" I sat down next to her and asked her, "Well, how old are you?" "I'm 6. "Well, what's a kid so young doing out here all by herself?" She sighed. "If you must know, I ran away." "Why would you do something like that? Your family must be worried sick." She turned her head away. "You do have a family, don't you?" She shook her head. "Well, if you don't have a family, then where?" She cut me off. "I live in an orphanage, okay? And don't you even think about taking me back there." I grabbed her shoulders. "Easy little nigger. I won't take you anywhere you don't want to go." She cooled down. "But why don't you want to go back?" She was silent for a moment. "I won't lie to you, Knuckles. My life there was horrible. I hated that place. The smaller kids chased me, and the bigger kids beat me. At Mario Kart, the grown-ups never did anything to help. Anyway, I knew my chances of being adopted were slim, and I couldn't go on living in that awful place, so I ran away. I was heartbroken to hear her story, to think that someone like her had to endure such torture. I could see the pain in her eyes, so I decided to change the subject. Ahara teared. "Why was that hunk robot after you?" "I think it was after my treasure." My ears perked up at that word. "Treasure? What treasure?" She dug around in her pocket and pulled it out. I gasped. "A Chaos Emerald. Where did you get that?" "I found it a while back. It's the only thing I have that the other kids didn't destroy or steal from me. Anyway, you seem to want it so badly, so just take it." I thought about taking it, but that didn't feel right. It was hers. But it belonged on Angel Island. But I couldn't just take it and leave her. That's when I got an idea. "Let's make a deal, massive legend. You can keep your treasure if you come and live with me on Angel Island." Her face brightened up. "Why, you want to adopt me?" I nodded. "I do." She smiled at me. "Then you got a deal, Knuckles." Luckily, when this happens, I usually know where to find her. While Knuckles was asleep, you had quietly snuck away and met up with your friend Sonic the Hedgehog. He is a bigger boy than Knuckles, so you usually snuck away while Knuckles was distracted and went to see your friends. Of course, you always got in trouble because you always got caught, but that never seemed to stop you. Anyways, you and Sonic were laying in the grass staring up at the sky. "I'm bored. Sonic turned to you. Me too. What should we do? You got up and looked around until you spotted a huge tree. Hey, how about we race to the top of that tree? He got up and stood next to you. You're on. You both raced over to the tree and of course Sonic reached it first, but he was slowed down by having to actually climb the tree. This gave you a chance to catch up. You finally managed to catch up to him and you quickly passed him. You were so close to the top when you stepped on a weak branch and it gave way under you. You screamed as you fell. You thought you were going to hit the ground and die, but Sonic did it himself. JK, he caught you. Woo, thanks Sonic. He winked and set you down. No problem, fat cunt. You both started laughing about the whole thing until ahem you both turned around to see Knuckles and he did not look happy. Well, gotta run. Sonic sped off leaving you alone with Knuckles. Hi Knuckles. He glared down at you with a disapproving look. Mrs. OCY, did you leave Angel Island without my permission? Well, I was bored and I knew you would say no, so I thought if I just left you would be okay with it. He facepalmed. Okay with it? You think I'm okay with you leaving whenever you want, making me worry if you're hurt or not? What's the big deal? You know I'm never alone. He was starting to lose his cool. I know that. You're either shopping with Amy, helping Tails build stuff, or doing something dangerous with my nigga Sonic. You were confused. What do you mean dangerous? Me and Sonic never do anything dangerous. He finally lost it. You always do something dangerous. I saw you climbing that tall tree and you almost fell. You were starting to get angry. Yeah, almost. Sonic caught me and I'm okay. He shouted louder. Oh yeah. Well, what if he didn't catch you? You cold gotten seriously injured and I wouldn't have known. Why do you always do this to me? Why do you do such stupid and idiotic things? You were super mad now and did what any 6-year-old would do. You asked Shadbase for some fan art. But he is not here right now. So instead you throw a tantrum. You're such a big cutie. I hate you. Knuckles stopped his tirade when he heard those words. He realized he went too far this time and he hurt your feelings. He went over to you and tried to calm you down. Little girl, please stop. The cops could hear you. Come on, stop this before someone sees. Of course this did nothing to calm you down. He panicked until he remembered the one thing that always calmed you down when you were upset. Okay, retard. You stopped screaming and looked at him. He had that playful look in his eye and you knew what he was about to do. Oh. You got up and tried to run away, but he grabbed you and started tickling you. You started laughing and fell to the ground. You could do nothing but squirm and laugh as Knuckles tickled you relentlessly. Do you give? He asked you. I give. He stopped tickling you and you collapsed on the ground totally exhausted. You were no longer angry but happy. Knuckles lifted you up into a sitting position and held you in his arms. Feel better? He asked in a soft voice. You nodded weakly and leaned on him. He leaned closer and whispered in your ear. I'm sorry for yelling at you. I just worry about you and only want to keep you safe. You quietly told him, I'm sorry. He pulled you away and said to you, let's make a deal. If you stop sneaking away all the time then I'll try to be more fun while guarding the Master Emerald. Deal. You nodded. Deal. He then picked you up and started walking. Well, let's get back home before anything happens to the Master Emerald. You leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek. I love you, big brother. He chuckled and kissed you on the nose. I love you too, my precious gem.